Ons is besig met vanoggend se koerant en media bespreking met Susan Botha, nuusredakteur van Groot FM 90.5 en dan verwelkom ons ook nou vir Kevin Baart van die Suid-Afrikaanse Petroleumbedryfvereniging om met ons te gesels oor die verwagte brandstofprysstyging wat ons oor 'n rukkie kan verwag. So goeiemôre en welkom ook aan jou, Kevin.
Goeiemôre.
Susan, dalk net inleidend, ek sien nou beeldbladsy 5, olieprys kan $100 bereik.
Ja, en dit kan dalk Trump se skuld wees. Baie mense beskuldig hom nou veral in die Midde-Ooste, omdat hy onttrek het, of dan nou nie die Iranse kernkrag verdrag onderteken het nie, en hulle dink hy meng in daar en hy probeer eintlik om die olieproduksie daar bietjie te verhoog sodat daar minder of meer druk kan wees op die verbruikers op die ou einde, maar vir ons is dit eintlik 'n verskriklike slegte storie, want sedert 2014 of in die laaste 4 jaar het ons 'n verskriklike groot stygings gesien in hierdie olieprys en vir die eerste keer sedert 2014 is hy nou weer hierdie $80 merk per vat. So ons kan 'n groot verhoging in brandstofpryse verwag weer en dis altyd hartseer want op die ou einde die verbruiker betaal die duurste prys eintlik. Nou Opel het gesê hulle gaan nie hulle produksie verhoog nie. So daar's vir my amper half 'n monopolie daaraan, maar Kevin sal dalk meer daaroor kan uitbrei. Daar is definitief 'n monopolie en op die ou einde betaal die verbruiker die duurder prys. En ek weet nie, ek dink die regering gaan vir ons weer tegemoet kom met hierdie ene nie, maar dit is jammer dat ons aan die einde van hierdie waardeketting sit en dat ons swaar moet gaan betaal, want vervoerkoste gaan duurder word en daarmee saam kospryse. So dit is op die einde die verbruiker wat die swaarste las gaan dra.
Kevin, this increase is around the corner, so what can we expect and when can we expect the announcement?
Well, what happens is that the Central Energy Fund calculates prices on a monthly basis, and they in fact print them on their website. You can go to that septgroup.co's, I think it is. And if you have a look at that website, it shows that the under recovery for petrol, for RON 95 petrol, is roughly R1 a litre at this stage in time. The under recovery for diesel is about R1.20. So one could expect, or one should expect, a R1 a litre price increase for petrol and about a R1.20 price increase for diesel. Normally, the Department of Energy issues that announcement today, later this afternoon. However, it could in fact occur as late as Monday. It mustn't occur after that because a price change is effective at midnight on Tuesday.
So please just explain to us, how is the petrol price calculated?
It's made up of a number of issues. The first one is the basic fuels price, which is really an import parity price for petrol and diesel coming from designated markets, takes into account freight and et cetera. On top of that, you've got taxes and levies. Taxes and levies account for 37%, 40% of the fuel price at the moment. The BFP itself is about 47%. On top of that, you've got allowable margins, and then you've got retail margins.
There's always this comes up always with the petrol. It's someone that's asking, if you look at Zimbabwe and some of our neighbors, they get cheaper petrol, and someone like Sasol is involved. That whole argument, is it a valid argument? Why do they get it so cheap and why do we suffer?
The first thing is let's deal with Sasol. Sasol make about 30% of South Africa's volumes. But you can't expect Sasol to in fact sell at a price cheaper than what their competitors are doing. I mean, market forces don't work that way. That's the first thing. The second thing is why our neighbours are normally cheaper than us is because of taxes and levies. Our taxes and levies are very expensive. I think they're approaching something like R5 a litre. If you take the general fuel levy and the road accident fund on top of that.
Sure, but it feels unfair if you look that we get taxed on VAT and everything. I mean, there's so much extra tax. They say we pay tax more than, or 70% is going to tax.
Remember, thank God, there's no VAT on petrol and diesel.
Sure. Can you imagine another 50%?
Can you imagine if there was VAT on that?
Then I'll start drinking petrol.
Please,
Ja,
no.
nee. Ons sluit af met vanoggend se koerant en media bespreking met Susan Botha, nuusredakteur van Groot FM 90.5 en dan ook Kevin Baart van die Suid-Afrikaanse Petroleumbedryfvereniging. Kevin, I just want to ask you, the average households in Gauteng and the Western Cape spend the highest percentage of their income on fuel. So who will be affected the most?
We can expect it really will be the poorer people. because transport is even more a part of their monthly expenditure, especially in terms of taxis and things like that. And in terms of that, and we must remember that also that any increase in price will push up the price of goods, of general goods and groceries. So we must expect that people should be more careful about how they use fuel, in terms of how they drive, etc., etc. Car sharing, things like that.
Bicycles. Someone said he's using a bicycle. There's two questions from listeners. Mark Russia wants to find out the oil reserves. And we know, like Tina Humat Peterson sold a lot of that. But if we had that oil reserves, would it help? And do we have reserves?
I think we still have some reserves, but having those oil reserves would have made no difference, because any sale of those oil reserves to local refiners would have been done at a market-related price. And one must remember that we also, in fact, import quite a lot of fuel into the country. Our imports are roughly about 6 billion litres per annum. And that 6 billion litres per annum comes in at roughly the BFP. So it would make no effect the sale of those of the crude oil reserves to local refiners.
And then the second one, I've got their names on my hand. Klaus Simon, he wants to find out how much petrol and diesel do we sell in a month, because then he can work out the tax the government's making, and it's quite an interesting question. I don't know how much we sell.
We sell roughly about 2 billion litres a month. 2 billion litres a month, yes.
And then the tax is?
The tax, as I mentioned, it's roughly about R5.30, I think it is, for both the fuel levy and the road accident fund.
And do we know that it is used appropriately?
Well, the fuel levy it goes into National Treasury coffers, and then they will use it as per requirements. The road accident fund, we've heard about issues with regards about that, so no comment.
No, definitely. Unless you were that guy years ago, I think we paid him $500 million from Denmark. It was in an accident. That was a big payout.
Yeah.
Absolutely shocking.
Them.
Ja.
Susan, ek dink ons moet uitkom by 'n bietjie ligter nuus. So kom ons kyk na die burger se voorblad. Rob klap roeier met seekat.
Ja, daar is soveel nuusberigte al hieroor en dit is net baie snaaks. En daar is mense wat seker sal dink die Rob het seker nie die man daar verwag nie, en hy het nou hierdie lewendige seekat gehad en hy het seker net hierdie amper hierdie struktuur gesien wat teen die seekat dalk kon doodslaan, en toe is die man daar, so ek weet nie. En hy sê ook, net op sy naam uitkom, Kyle Millender, daar van die Nieu-Seelandse wêreld af, en hy sê, hy weet nie wie die grootste geskrik, hy die seekat of die Rob nie, maar dit was baie snaaks. Die video, ek dink, is al 'n paar 100,000 keer.
Ons het eintlik daai video gewys het volgende, want dit is regtig snaaks. Hulle is oor opgewonde, ek kan sien dit was nou 'n groot moment. Hy gil soos 'n meisie wat snaaks was. Met my lag heeltyd. En dit is regtig 'n groot seekat. Jy weet, hy slat vir hom deur die gesig.
En nou Rob is ook groot. Ek weet dit was 'n groot verbasing, maar ek dink definitief 'n geleentheid wat hierdie jong man nooit sal vergeet nie. En ek weet nie of daai kajak ooit dieselfde sal wees nie, maar ja, dit is interessant. Ek sal graag wil weet wat was die Rob se gedagte gewees. Het hy gedink het hy nou hierdie, ek weet of hy seker het om dalk seer gemaak het hom aan hom vasgesuig het of wat hy wou net ontslaa raak van die ou, en toe hy uitkom toe is hierdie kajak met hierdie mens op daar nie, en ja, dit is net baie snaaks.
Wat sou hy sê? Hier het jou katvis. So iets.
Ja.
Het ons net nog 'n storie?
Ja, ek wil ook miskien tips kry, ek weet of jy vir Kevin nog gevra. Van mense met ons vra vir ons luisteraars hoe spaar hulle brandstof. Is there some tricks? I don't know, because we need to start saving.
You need to actually drive carefully. Drive those good old, should I mention it, Discovery ads. In terms of the guy taking off slowly, the cops not chasing the cars and things like that. That's really what people need to do, because a lot of it is driving habits, which bad driving habits which people have, which actually use your fuel.
And we are plan
your trips.
Yes. That's what I don't do it. I just want to go get meat on a Friday, and then I drive to 3 places.
And then walk or cycle.
And don't run. So iemand my vra wat's fout met jou knie? Dis ek het gehardloop vir die mense wat wonder. Just one last thing. Is there hope on this good news Friday? Or you think it's going to get worse?
As Susan said, we're looking at price. I think things are going to get worse. If I got to be very careful about this, because it's pure speculation.
Yes.
We could see an increase in prices. However, we are seeing more exports of crude oil. Can you believe it, out of the US? In the past, that didn't happen because of because not of US sanctions, they actually forbade the export of crude oil. But now we're seeing crude actually come out of the US now. And the US is in fact a bigger producer than Saudi Arabia. Can you believe it? So that could cap the prices, and it depends upon what OPEC does. But what we're seeing now, I believe next year, towards the end of next year, we're going to see potentially worse.
Oh, that's a goeie afsluiting. Thank you for your
Verskoon my.
expertise. Verskoon my, that was fantastic.
Thank you so much. Dit was Kevin Baart gewees van die Suid-Afrikaanse Petroleumbedryf Vereniging en dan ook Susan Botha, nuusredakteur van Groot FM 90.5.
En Elsa Esterhuizen ook hier saam met ons in die
Baie
ateljee.
dankie Jorney
Ja.
van Huisteen.